Ooh, okay. Is this thing on? Sweet. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while. There's so much to update you on, but I'm back. Sort of, kind of. So if you're new here, hello, my name is Kissa. I am an entrepreneur based in the Los Angeles area, and I do normally productivity videos about entrepreneurship here on my channel. But today I thought that I would kind of switch it up. I'm sharing some new content today that I'm hoping will be useful for you, and just kind of sharing some life experience that I have been going through recently. So in my last video, I did kind of a life update, and I was sharing about how Charlie and I are expecting our first baby this coming March. Well, it is March, and our son Micah was born on February 20th, 2020, and I just instantly turned from entrepreneur to mompreneur, just like that. The most amazing thing to become a mom. We've been wanting this for such a long time, and it finally happened. And so I thought I would share with you some tips about going from entrepreneur to mompreneur, just kind of what I've learned, what I've experienced, and hopefully it'll help you. So let's get into it. So if you guys don't know, my family and I run a restaurant, a Filipino restaurant here in the Los Angeles area called Ninong's Cafe. And so normally I'm a very hands-on boss. I am on the cook line, I'm in the front of house, I do all of the admin work, all of the bookkeeping, and getting pregnant, the first thing that I thought of was, how am I going to be able to do this while taking care of a newborn baby? I mean, any entrepreneur is going to be thinking about, how am I going to be able to take a maternity leave and still keep my business afloat, right? So maternity leave was a big stress point for me, and I wanted to make sure that I would actually be able to take one. But, with being an entrepreneur and knowing that I had responsibilities to my business, a few of my concerns were, the increased labor costs, because I would need to staff more, knowing that my husband and I would be away from our business. Other things that I was stressing about was the day-to-day operations, and making sure that my team felt like they were well equipped to be able to run our business while I was working remotely. And they had that confidence, and I had that confidence in them. And then on top of that, making sure I had time to train and hire an assistant that would be able to take care of some of the responsibilities that I had off of my plate, so that I could really take time to spend with the baby, spend time with Charlie, and make sure that we were adjusting well to our new family environment. The first thing that went through my mind when I found out I was pregnant was how I was going to be able to take a maternity leave, and if we could even afford one. And the answer was, no matter what, I needed to figure it out, because my new shift of priority was my new baby and my husband, and making sure that we were going to be able to transition in this big life change. And we were able to kind of take some time in these very pivotal moments of the baby's life, where we could be there and fully be there, and make sure that we had very little work stress as possible. I am actually on maternity leave now, and I have been since February 15th, and I'm going to be on maternity leave until May 1st. And I chose to do that regardless of whatever I needed to supplement with when it came to labor costs and operational things. I knew that that was a priority for me, and I wanted to make sure that I took time out to do it. Granted, I know that not everyone is in that place, and I find myself very lucky and very blessed to be able to make that decision and say that that's what we're going to do. But it was very, very important to me. So I wanted to make sure that within the 9 months of me knowing I was pregnant, I could prepare myself, my husband, and the business for this big life change. Which brings me to tip number 1. Don't wait until the very last minute to prep for your maternity leave. As soon as you know you're pregnant and you know you want to take a maternity leave, as an entrepreneur, you've got to put the plan in place. You need to figure out what you need to do how long you're going to take off, and then work around that. Because the main thing is you want to make sure that your business is still keeping afloat while you're away, right? So that's not going to happen overnight. You've got to take the time, you've got to invest, and you've got to figure out what you need to do logistically so that you can make that happen. Things that I did was I changed processes so that I can communicate with my team more effectively remotely. A lot of things that we were doing were on pen and paper, analog style. And so I had for a long time wanted to go digital with a few things as far as operations go and communications with my team. And so I decided to implement that as soon as possible. And then on top of that, what I did was I implemented it before I went onto maternity leave, because obviously when there is an operational change, there are going to be some bugs. There are going to be some things that you need to iron out, the kinks that you need to figure out. And you want to do that before you go on to maternity leave, because you want to be able to have time to troubleshoot it. So I implemented all those things, I think a few weeks or a couple months before I actually went on leave. That way I can make sure that if there were any issues, I could answer or address any of those things before I left. So as my due date started approaching, I started to obviously worry about this big life change. It started to become a stress point for me. And I started to worry about me being absent from work, how my team and how the business was going to run without me, whether or not, I would be able to stay sane at home, thinking that I wasn't going to be busy. Yeah, right. And that stress started to really overcome me. So tip number 2 that I have for any soon-to-be mom that's an entrepreneur, any mompreneurs out there, is find time for a bit of self-reflection, self-care, and affirmation. So for me, that is journaling, taking time out to pray, read a devotional, just get out and go do something, take a walk with your baby, whatever it is. Just some time for you to clear your mind. It doesn't mean that you need to, spend a lot of money. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a day where you need to go get a mani-pedi. I did that for the baby shower, and though I normally don't get my nails done, it was just something that I wanted to do for myself to just make me feel a little bit better. It could be a face mask at home. It could be just watching a movie, or binging your favorite TV show. Whatever that is, just a little bit of time for yourself to unwind is really, really important. And I know that, as entrepreneurs, we don't do it. And even more so as mompreneurs, it just feels like it's never going to happen. But carve out even a few seconds. Have a bowl of ice cream, just something to make you feel like you did something for yourself that made you just a little happier. Micah arrived 2 weeks early. He was actually supposed to be born on March 4th. That was his due date, and he actually came on February 20th. I went into labor exactly 2 weeks before my due date, and it was totally not expected. I was already on maternity leave, but Charlie, my husband, was still working at the restaurant. He actually had 4 days left before he went on paternity leave. And so when my water broke, it was completely unexpected. Luckily, I had our basic, hospital bags packed, but there were still some things that I was waiting for that I had ordered online that hadn't even come in yet. It was just not expected at all. And something that we learned quickly before Micah even came into the world was that we need to be more flexible. As a person that is a planner, a type A person, I am very bad with flexibility when it comes to plans. And when my water broke, I was just thinking, no. This is too early. He's gonna come maybe next week or the week after, not this early. And I didn't have any control of that, obviously. So tip number 3 that I have for all those soon-to-be parents out there is allow yourself to be flexible, because clearly we don't have any control on things like that. But just expecting to be more flexible helps take a little bit of weight off of your shoulders. Just knowing that things come when they come, things happen when they happen, is just part of it. And to not stress about it and just trust that everything's going to be okay. Know that everything's going to be okay. And when in doubt, talk to someone, ask your doctor, go to the hospital, figure it out. That's okay. just allow yourself to be flexible. So funny story, when I found out that I was 9 centimeters dilated, I get a text from one of our staff members at the restaurant. Granted, I'm about to push a baby out of my body. And I get a text saying that our internet is down at the restaurant. And clearly that's a problem because we use the internet to take credit card transactions. We use it to run our ticket operation at the restaurant, and the internet is just clearly an important part of the restaurant and how we run our day to day. So when I found out that the internet was down and I was about ready to push this baby out, it couldn't come at a worse time. Seriously, like even if they had told me an hour before, it would have been better. 15 minutes before, it would have been better. But it happened right when my doctor was like, okay, let's do this. And I was like, right, hold on 1 second, because I got to fix this internet problem at my restaurant before I give birth to this baby. Go figure. That brings me to tip number 4, which is things are going to happen at the most inconvenient moment. All you can do is try and figure it out and laugh it off, because seriously, I could have been like, are you kidding me? Now is not the time and whatever. But my husband and I just looked at each other and we were like, go figure. It is what it is. Let's try and fix it. It took us, I don't know, 15 minutes to figure out what was wrong. We notified our staff, and then they said that everything was good to go. And then I started pushing. I mean, all in all, I just got to say flexibility, like I mentioned earlier. But second of all, take everything with a grain of salt. It's going to happen when it happens. And you can there's so many different ways that you can handle a situation like that. And luckily we were able to troubleshoot it before things really went down. But yeah, just take everything with a grain of salt, enjoy the moment, and just do what you can. And that's all that we can do. We were in the hospital from Wednesday afternoon until Sunday evening. So we were there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, practically 5 days. And I had a C-section, which is part of the reason why we had to stay at the hospital for so long. But honestly, I was thinking that I was going to be so excited to get out of the hospital because I am not comfortable in hospitals. I don't know why, but I knew before that I wanted to get in and out of the hospital as soon as possible. And when that didn't happen, I was really kind of relieved, truth be told, because while we were at the hospital, I was able to learn so much from the amazing nurses that were taking care of us. I'm tripping over my words because they were just so amazing. I learned so much from them. Charlie learned so much from them by observing them, how they were interacting with Micah, how to swaddle, how to change diapers, how to know when something's wrong, how to know when, it's just like the baby's okay, how to soothe, just all these types of things. And everyone was just so caring and so wonderful. But I was really actually happy that we spent so much time in the hospital because I got to learn and observe so much from the nurses and the consultants and the doctors. Everyone was just so great. And then when we got home, I was itching to get home, but right when I walked through the door, it just all immediately felt really foreign to me. I didn't have a nurse to help me try to, figure out if Micah's cry was just him being fussy or him being hungry or his diaper needing to be changed. They knew all of that, and they told me, try this, try that, try this, try that. And we always were able to figure it out. But when I walked in through that door and knew it was just me and Charlie, and we were now responsible for this human and determining his safety and making sure that he was okay and healthy and good, this feeling of overwhelm started to rush over me because it was change. I was used to 5 days of help, and then coming home, it was kind of new territory. So that leaves me to tip number 5, show yourself some grace. So important. And it's really hard to do that as new parents, as new moms. But Show yourself some grace. We're going to figure it out. We're going to slowly learn. Your baby is going to slowly learn. Don't be afraid to ask questions, even if you think that they're stupid ones. Try not to Google everything because it's just going to scare you. Show yourself some grace. Let your mother's intuition or your father's intuition kick in. Know your gut and go with it when you just know that something might be wrong or something's out of the ordinary, or you start feeling like you might know the answer to something or something that you know that your baby needs, because that intuition is sometimes right. You know, it might not be right every time, but it's a good thing to go with. It automatically kicks in. Do what you can. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. It'll be okay. That's it for today's video, guys. I hope that if you are a soon-to-be parent, a mom, a new mom like myself, I hope that this was useful for you. I'm actually hoping to do more content like this. So if you like this video, please like it, comment below, subscribe, something, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.